want to be a Ninjago YouTuber like myself? Well, now you can. Here are 20 tips that may help you in achieving your goal of success and maybe fame and notoriety in the community. Now, these tips are in no particular order, and these tips are not 100% guaranteed to work, as things may happen. But these are tips that I've personally experienced. So you could take my word with that. These tips will definitely help you to some extent. And like I said, they may not always work, but this is the best I can think of. This first tip is really important. You have to decide what you want to do, because Ninjago content isn't just black and white. There are multiple different genres of Ninjago content. I've seen stop motion people, analysis people like me. There's the editors who only make like 30-second videos, parody videos. There's so many different types of Ninjago content, and you can stick to one, or you can branch out into others. It really matters to you, because it's your channel, your rules, and so this is your decision. Decide what you really, really want to do. I've seen so many Ninjago YouTubers not do this, and it really makes me mad. But opinionate your titles, or at least make them seem very opinionated. Because there are some people that unfortunately just cannot tell the difference between a fact and an opinion, and these titles are not helping their case. And you may be thinking, well, the people in the video say, oh, this is my opinion. I don't think that's enough to be a surefire way to tell. I mean, to be fair, there are no guarantees, but I feel like just saying it in the video, plus putting the title in, makes it almost obvious that, yeah, what you're saying is up to opinion, because you see companies do that too, like companies on YouTube like Watch Mojo do that, and in a sense you're kind of doing that same thing with a company. It's like a company is kind of like an official as it can get, and you don't want people to get confused that what you're saying is a fact and therefore not an opinion. You have to remember that. They have to remember that. And by saying it not just in the video and putting it in the title, you make it pretty much dead obvious that what you're saying is an opinion. This one is pretty obvious. Have a decent thumbnail. I mean, yes, it's not always easy to create a good thumbnail. Just ask me. But if you can picture the thumbnail in your head, then put it out, and use whatever thumbnail materials you got. What I do usually is I just go off of Google. Now that isn't necessarily the best source, considering Google has both high quality and low quality images. Well, if you want to keep with high quality, you're gonna have to kind of scour the internet to find some good high quality images, but I'm sure you'll find a way to make a good thumbnail. And also the text. I recommend using the Kunoichi text, which is basically the new Ninjago text from the movie. I'm pretty sure there was another Ninjago text that they used before the movie, but I forgot the font name. I forgot. Someone would have to tell me in the comments for that. But that's what I recommend, since pretty much everyone is doing that font. It's pretty much a surefire way to make it obvious that this is a Ninjago related video when you use that font. So yeah. This may not seem like a good tip, but trust me, it is. And that is to include tags. Tags on YouTube are basically kind of like search terms. Like when you search Ninjago, you might just search Ninjago. Boom, like that. That would be a tag, essentially. It basically makes your videos easier to find when people search it in. And you want people to find you, essentially. And if you leave it with no tags, it's really going to kind of affect you in the long run, since nobody will know who you are unless some big guy mentions you. So you really need to put those tags in. Now, I don't recommend tag bombing, which is putting it on just an absurd number of tags. Put a reasonable reasonable number of tags. Like, I'd say 3 to 5. As many as the topic recommends. So, like, if you're talking about, like, let's say your seasons, you might put, like, all the season names in there. So you're talking about ranking the seasons. Or if you're talking about a certain ninja, you might want to include Ninjago, this character, into it. So only put in a good number of tags and just don't tag wrong, but include them. This one is pretty obvious. Don't expect instant growth. And this isn't just for Ninjago YouTubers, but YouTubing in general. Don't expect instantaneous growth, because that is pretty unlikely going to happen. Now, it can happen, but the majority of it is you have to scratch and claw your way up to success. I mean, some of my Ninjago YouTube friends like Daily Rollord and Nick the Brick, they've been on YouTube for years, and they scratched and clawed their way up there. Now, even someone like Generic Stud, who is growing as I am talking, he didn't start out that way. He had to scratch and claw, and then had a boom about that. He scratched and clawed his way up there. So, if you expect instant growth, you're just living in a fantasy. Yeah, this one, I am victim to this one too, and that is, don't look by the numbers. So basically, don't compare yourself to someone larger, because as I said before with the instant growth, they had to scratch and claw their way up there, and you're gonna likely have to scratch and claw your way up there too. So if you're comparing yourself, trying to make yourself superior just to give yourself an ego boost, don't do that. Don't do that. All you'll be doing is just hampering your ego and basically destroying your self-esteem by saying, oh, I'll never get to that point because they have so-and-so amount of subscribers or so-and-so amount of views. That just puts an unrealistic standard on yourself. And we don't want unrealistic standards. We want realistic standards. So don't look by the numbers, because, you may grow within a few years, or even maybe in a few months. Another obvious tip is collabing. Collabing with other Ninjago YouTubers is a must. Unless you're Tanner Fishies, of course. But even he has done that before with Brent Miller, the voice of Zane, and even my friend, the Four Corners E. So, collabing is just essential to growing as a Ninjago YouTuber. And even though you may not know them personally, you might ask them if they want to, maybe just to gain momentum. Because there are some days where you're kind of in a slump and your growth rate is just not good. Why not try a collaboration? That may help. I think my most recent collab with Overlord1469 really helped me, as it gained me 20 subscribers, because people know him very well, so they look to me, and since we are friends, they were thinking of subscribing to me. So, yeah, collabing is essential. And you could collab with bigger YouTubers or smaller YouTubers. It really doesn't matter, because it goes both ways. If you're a bigger channel, if you're the bigger channel than the one you're collaborating, you're essentially promoting them. But if someone is bigger than you and you're collabing with them, they are promoting you, essentially. So it's a good symbiotic relationship where both sides get a win. Now, this one you may not see as a tip, but I think it is. Expect the unexpected. There are some days where, you grow and you could never stop growing. Boom, 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 boom. And then there are days where you're just, nothing happens. So expect the things that you don't really expect. And they could come basically out of nowhere. And this isn't just subs and views. This could be like YouTube platform changes, because we all know YouTube has the greatest platform changes, am I right? I was being sarcastic there. Or maybe someone would want to collab with you, essentially. You might not expect that. So, expect the unexpected. This one is a little bit of a weird tip, but don't trust anyone immediately, because if you collab with someone and then they turn out to be a complete jerk down the line, it makes you think, why did I collab with them in the first place? I mean, a perfect example of this is when Daily Lord, my friend, collabed with the infamous Albrick Studios. They were friends at one point, and then Al basically kept doing his infamous actions, and Daily was just like, why did I collab with him? So I don't want you to face that same little thing, make you think, oh, I'm such a dumbass. But like, don't trust anyone immediately, because they could potentially be not so friendly as a result. This one is obvious. Don't be a jerk. Just don't be a jerk. Because being an influence online carries a ton of pressure. And you don't want the pressure to get to your head, you know? If you let the pressure get to your head, you might develop an ego and might think you're above everyone else, or you're above, like, let's say, the law, and it allows you to do very bad acts, like scamming people, asking for sexual favors, stuff that could actually land you in prison. And I don't want that to happen, because it's been possible. I've seen loads of YouTubers think that just because they're big, they can get away with pretty much anything. That just isn't the case. Rule of law exists, and the law will come and get you for your deeds if you abuse your platform. Going back to titles from the second tip, also have a catchy title. A title is kind of like the advertisement for the video. It has to grab audiences, has to grab you. Now, there is no guarantee of having a quote-unquote objectively catchy title. It's really down to what people think. But if I were to suggest some things, I would say maybe capitalize some words to give further emphasis. Or do what Tanner Fishies does and add random emojis, even though some people might find that quite annoying. Or make your wording sound really good. Make it kind of straight to the point, or make it somewhat mysterious, you know? Words matter, and if you find the right words, you can have the catchiest title in the land. But that alone cannot be the make or break for your video being successful, because you may have the catchiest title ever, and yet your video still sucks. So don't just rely on any of these tips alone. These tips work together in harmony. I had to do that. This I've actually struggled with, but it is possible, and that is having a consistent schedule. Being consistent is incredibly important on YouTube. It's basically paramount, because people want to have a pattern, essentially, and they want to expect like certain videos at a certain time. And while that may seem kinda unrealistic, that's kind of what the fans really expect. They expect you to do a certain amount of videos for a certain week at a certain time, and if you do that, you're gonna please them even further. And what I usually do, my schedule as of right now, is 4 videos at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, yes, I am limiting my audience because a lot of my audience is European. Unfortunately, you can't. It's pretty much hard to do to get everyone into it. And I've looked online, and the best time to upload a video is anytime between 5 and 9. 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. In whatever time you are. So, having a consistent schedule is definitely very, very important, because it makes the viewer know what you can do and what you're able to do. This one people need to understand. Go with what you have. A lot of people really expect you to have some high-tech stuff and expect you to do this in your videos. Well, some people, like myself, are not in good income, or at least are in families that don't really have good incomes, so they can only afford certain amounts of stuff. And if you only have like one device to do it, then, you know, work with that. I don't really like how people expect you to do like editing all the time. No, that's not a realistic scenario, because some people may not know how to do it and may not, be able to afford some good quote unquote editors. So go with what you have, essentially. If you only have a phone or a laptop or an iPad, go with that. You don't have to basically bankrupt yourself just to achieve high quality. You could start out with not so good quality and then kind of up the quality as you go on YouTube, because everyone starts at the bottom. Every YouTuber has started with 0 subscribers before, and basically next to nothing, and they slowly got better and better and better with the quality. So don't expect high quality from the start, because it sets an unrealistic standard. And a lot of people really need to understand this, because it really makes me mad how people expect you to do this because other people are doing it. And to me, that's just not fair, and it's not justified at all. Next is reply to comments. Now, this isn't just for your YouTube channel. This could be for any channel, including a community post, someone else's video, or even comments on your own video. Replying to comments shows that you are interacting with your comments, and being interacting with comments can definitely work with you. And yeah, it can work against you as well, but for the most part, for me, it's worked in my advantage, because when you comment on someone else's channel, they may be thinking, who is this person that commented? Especially if you have an opinion that a lot of people agree with, or a spicy hot opinion from the master of unpopular opinions. They may go, I want to know why this person thinks the way they do. So they may check out your channel and be like, oh, this person uploads videos, I may want to subscribe. So, yeah, replying to comments is definitely a good way to gain more subscribers, because more people will know who you are, essentially. It's kind of in the same vein as collabs, but it's in a more subtle manner. The human subconscious can only take so much. It can only take so much pressure and stress. So if you're feeling stressed out by a lot of things, whether it be stuff in your personal life, or maybe your YouTube channel isn't growing the way you think it is, just take a break. There's nothing wrong with taking breaks every once in a while, but YouTube audiences have set an unrealistic standard for a lot of people, because they expect content to be made, even if they are on break. And this is going to be further implied in the next tip, but taking a break is essential, because there are some days where you may have what I call the content creator block, similar to writer's block, where you just can't think of a video idea, or with writer's block, you just don't know what to write yet. So you're just like, okay, something ain't right, I'm just going to take a break for a little bit. And this is especially true if you're going on vacation, like I recently just did. You can do what I will suggest in the next tip as a way to supplement the lack of video making. So these two tips, this one and the next one, go really hand in hand. This is essential, especially if you're taking a break or if you just have no video ideas, and that is to plan ahead. Because there are going to be some days where you just can't think of anything, or you just may need a break. So what do? You plan ahead. So therefore, you can take a break from making videos and still be releasing quote-unquote new videos to your audience. So it's the best of both worlds. They're getting something, and you're getting a break as a result. So planning ahead definitely works to your advantage, because even though these videos may be months old and you may have said something that is completely obsolete, that is a small price to pay for your relaxation and to help build up your psyche and help you relieve some stress. If you're keeping up with Ninjago News, Ninjago News can release at the most awkward of times, whether it be during the night when you've already uploaded your video, or even while you're sleeping. At least try your best to keep to be up to date, because even though the news may release at such an awkward time, you could still capitalize on it, even if you're quote-unquote late to the party. Especially if you've planned ahead. Sometimes seeing too far ahead might be a bit of a disadvantage, especially if there is Ninjago news. You might have to work around it. Work around what your schedule is already set in stone, and you basically have to sort of work around it. And Ninjago news is extremely unpredictable, so you just have to kind of work around it, because it's not a given of when the news will release. It may release in the morning, it may release in the afternoon, it may release at night, it may even release while you're sleeping. So you have to be prepared for when the news is going to drop and capitalize on it when you can. Going back to that first tip that I mentioned earlier, vary up your content every now and then, because no one likes the same old every single time, and especially you could definitely get bored of it as a result, and you may be thinking, I want to do something else. If it's your channel, your rules. Now you may be thinking, but wouldn't that hurt my audience as a result, because they may, not be expecting to change? Well, you have to basically tell your audience that, hey, I want to do some other stuff. They'll most likely understand your situation, and therefore you're kind of essentially given the go to vary up your content. As I said before, there's multiple different genres of Ninjago content and content in general. So if you want to do something else, like make a tribute or make an edit or do some stop motion, there you go. Do some. You don't have to stay within your lane. Sometimes you have to kind of curve every now and then, because life is not always a straight line, and this is definitely within talking about content. It's not always the same thing. Sometimes you may have to deviate from the usual pattern in order to keep your audience interested, because they may never know what you're going to post, essentially. If you're doing multiple types of content, they may think, oh, you're going to do a discussion, when in actuality, you're doing a tribute. So therefore, keep them on your toes, Oh? Now these last two tips, I've actually given what I've considered tips, but these are two extra ones that I thought of, as these ones are more general tips than actual, let's say, Ninjago tips. But this one is learn as you go. Basically, it's kind of like a mix of all the tips I basically mentioned, because they may be, someone may have done something like this, and you may be thinking, maybe I could do that. You learn as you watch other people, and watching other people do the same content as you may give you some, maybe give you some ideas as to what you can do, because watching other people may give you ideas, and it may influence what you can and cannot make. So you gotta learn as you go with watching other people, and just, talking to other comments and saying, oh, they want this. You'll be thinking, maybe I could do that. So you gotta learn, because being a YouTuber is a learning experience. So obviously there's going to be a lot of lessons to learn, maybe not in the curriculum style that you're used to when you're in school, but you will learn based off of what you see, or if you're blind, what you notice, essentially. And my final tip for being a Ninjago YouTuber, or just a YouTuber in general, is have fun. If you're not having fun, what is the point of you having a YouTube channel where you create videos? If you aren't having fun, at least a lot of the time, there's really no point in creating a YouTube channel. To me, this is the most important tip out of every single tip that I have ever said in this video, because it's basically the whole reason for why you start a YouTube channel, essentially. You want to have fun. I mean, as I said before, life is not always a straight line. There are maybe some days where you just cannot have fun, or you're just not interested, and that's perfectly okay. There are going to be days when that happens, and you just have to work around it, and you have to learn to overcome these lack of fun moments. But that's the whole point of a YouTube channel, in my opinion, is to have fun. It's not to gain subscribers, it's not to gain views, it's not to get popularity, it's to have fun. Because that is the true heart and soul of a YouTube channel, and a YouTuber as a whole. Whenever you see, watch a bunch of YouTubers, they, in a sense, are having fun with what they make, whether they're playing video games, doing some comedy skits, or just acting like themselves. They are having fun in some way, shape, or form. As long as you have fun, it really does not matter if you get popular or whatnot. As long as you're having fun, who cares? But anyways, those are my 20 tips for how to become a good Ninjago YouTuber. Hopefully you guys like these tips, and I really thought about these tips. These tips were kind of hard to think about. I really had to sit and ponder about it. But anyways, I hope you guys like these tips, and if you are inspired by what I said for these tips to create a Ninjago YouTube channel, thank you so much, because I really want to inspire more people to do this stuff, because I believe we are lacking a lot of creators in the Ninjago field, especially among females. I don't really see a lot of female content creators who are like me, who do analysis. The only one I could think of is Haley Wolf from TTV, and she isn't her own. She has, to my knowledge, she does have her own channel, but it's not like she's doing it for analysis. She's doing it as for editing, which isn't a bad thing, obviously. But I want to see more female content creators, and just creators in general, like analysis people, or even stop motion, or even tributes. Whatever you want, just do whatever you want. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel by clicking the red subscribe button, and click on the notification bell to see every video that I will upload. And I see all you folks in the next video. Bye bye!